Are you ready for part 2? You haven't seen part 1? What are you waiting for? In the description below, I have a link to part 1 of this video. If you haven't seen part 1, part 2 is not going to make very much sense. Well, it might make sense. Nah, it's probably not going to make sense. In part 1, I discussed the principle of paying yourself first, what it is, and how and why it works. So, if you haven't watched it, check it out. The link is in the description below. In this video, I want to take that principle of paying yourself first and expand upon it. And there's a much deeper, more powerful concept behind it that I don't think anyone really talks about. It's certainly not mentioned in Think and Grow Rich, and certainly not mentioned in Rich Dad Poor Dad. And I would even argue that not too many YouTubers are talking about it as well. But before I get into that, please like, comment, subscribe on this video. It really helps me out, and I appreciate the support. So when people talk about paying yourself first, they're always talking about money. It's always about saving some money. But really, you can pay yourself in virtually anything else, and it will have tremendous rewards if you pay yourself first before you give it to other people. Now, I mentioned anything, but let's be a little bit more concrete, and let's take a few things that are very important to you as a person. As humans, we only have so many resources. Not just physical resources, tangible things and items, but our own time, mental energy, focus, creativity. There are only 24 hours in a day, and at least 8 of those should be spent sleeping, which leaves you with 16 hours. So you got 16 hours, and you really only have so much focus for one day, and you may only have 1 or 2 creative thoughts, but you only have so much time, energy, and focus. I believe that human capital, in the form of employment, is one of the most powerful things an employer can purchase. They're buying your time, your energy, your creativity, your ability to come up with new ideas that help the company grow. They're buying those things from you. Now, I'm not saying that you should just despise and hate your 9-to-5 job. You may really enjoy your job, and it can be highly fulfilling. But maybe you have other things. You have ideas. You have dreams. You have goals. You want to start a side hustle. And in that side hustle or that business that you want to start, it takes your time, energy, focus, creative talents. It requires all those things. And if the first thing you do during the day is go to work, you're getting drained of those things. I'm going to speak for myself, but at the end of the day, if I put in a full day's work, I'm tired. I kind of want to relax. I am drained, and I couldn't come up with a creative idea if I wanted to. I've utilized most of my creative energy, most of my focus at work, and I don't have that much to partition to other side projects that I have interest in. So if we want to get that side business or side hustle going, sometimes you need to pay yourself first, not in the form of money, but in the form of your time, focus, and creative energy. And I'm not saying that you need to just give up your job and that you shouldn't spend time doing work at your job, but perhaps reprioritizing where you spend your creative energy and time. The example that comes to mind is Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein, back in the early 1900s, he was actually working as a clerk at a patent office. Einstein was so efficient at his work, he was able to complete 8 hours worth of work in about 3 hours, which left him 5 hours to really do what he wants. So in those 5 hours, Einstein would actually develop a lot of the equations and theories, especially the ones on special relativity, that made him famous today. Einstein was able to dedicate his time, his creative energy towards his own personal side hustle, so to say. Einstein didn't necessarily pay himself first. He didn't necessarily reverse the order, spend 5 hours working on his theories, and then 3 hours just doing his patent clip work. But the principle still remains. You want to dedicate your time, your focus, your creative energy towards some of your own goals and ambitions. And if we don't, we inherently compromise our own goals and ambitions and dreams for the dreams and goals of other people. When an employer hires you, they're getting you to fulfill their dreams and goals. And not to say that that's a bad thing, But if you don't determine what dreams and goals you want to pursue, someone else will determine them for you. You can pay yourself first in the form of money in a savings account to save up for whatever you want. But I think that if you pay yourself first when it comes to engaging in your creative endeavors, focusing on things that you really care about, that's an even more important form of paying yourself first. By paying yourself first through your time, your focus, your creativity, it's so much more lucrative in the long run than just paying yourself first with money. And it will be more satisfying to you, to what you enjoy doing, what you like. People feel good when they explore their creativity and when they're able to express themselves. That's why people like art. That's why people like music. All right, Alex, all right. So we get the point. We get the principle. And yeah, it's really powerful. Paying yourself first with money, fairly straightforward. But how do you pay yourself first with time, focus, and creative energy? What's a practical thing you can do? Well, everybody's situation is different, but I'll speak for myself. I am most alert, focused, and creative in the morning. And I work a regular 9-to-5 job where I have to be there at 9 o'clock. I get up at 5 a.m. 6 a.m. because of COVID, because I don't have to commute. But basically, I dedicate time early in the morning because that's when I am most focused towards working on my own creative endeavors. Whether it's working on YouTube, reading a book or something that might really require my focus and attention, or just to have that extra time for myself to just work out or go for a long walk. I'm paying myself first. And this is even in the sense of your friends. You want to give yourself your time, your energy, your focus first before you give it to other people. I think this concept of paying yourself first, not just in money, although you should still do that, but in things like time, focus, creative energy, is so important, but it really applies to virtually anything. What on earth do you want to pay yourself first in? This could be discussed at length forever, and maybe I'll have another video about it. But I think I've explained the principle behind paying yourself first, not just in money, but in more important things. I believe that the possibilities of what you can pay yourself first in are really limitless. And it's up to you and what you consider important. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please consider liking, leave a comment, subscribe. It really helps me out. And hopefully you actually like and want to subscribe and learn more about this. And I've said enough. I'll see you soon.